Hi, so today I wanted to talk about living in halls. This is going to be one of my university series videos. Not everyone will be living in halls, but a lot of first years do. So I want to kind of tell you the things that the university won't tell you about living in halls. So my university halls were the only set of halls in the town that I live in because it's such a small campus. So it was the only choice I had. It was around £600 a month, and I got a room with an ensuite which had a shower and a toilet, and then I had to share a kitchen with 9 other girls. It was right across the road from university, but it was about a 20-minute walk from the centre of town. The first thing that I would recommend if you haven't already been on a halls tour is to look up online, or if you can visit the halls and see how much space you have, because some university halls have no storage and some have unbelievable amounts. If you bear that in mind when you pack in, because then you're either going to have a room that's empty or a room that's overfilled. Definitely be prepared for a lot of rules. Different halls will have different rules, but my hall's rules are you have to sign guests in and out with times and which car they came in. You can't put blue tack on the walls, you can't have candles, you couldn't have irons or microwaves or freezers or refrigerators in your room, stuff like that. So you might find that it's quite strict, or you might find that they're kind of easy with it, but we had security guards and would have cleaners in our room, so they'd check if we were following the rules. My laundry room was in a completely different building to my halls, so what I had to do was lug all of my laundry and then take it over, and then you would use a card that you would top up on PayPal, and it cost a fortune, and half of the time the washers were fine, but the dryers just wouldn't dry things. So I'd definitely recommend a clothes horse for your room, or things you can things you pin socks onto and hang them up to dry, because paying for laundry may cost a bomb. And I kind of just mostly took my laundry back to my parents' house when I was going back, so I avoided doing a lot of laundry. Also, buy a hell of a lot of new underwear and a hell of a lot of socks, and you should be fine. You shouldn't have to do laundry that often. If you're a light sleeper in halls, you don't actually have much chance of having any sleep. Throughout the week, depending on where you are, different nights will be student nights, and they certainly do not go with your timetable. So, for example, Thursday night was student night, and I had a 9 AM start at university next day for sewing class. So definitely, if you're a light sleeper or if you can't sleep with noise, the walls are thin. I would go for earplugs, and napping during the day, I found that I had to do that because it was the only time that it was quiet. On another note with noise, anyone who plays any music, I could hear bass from whichever floors. I was on 3rd floor and there was 1, 2, 3 and 4 floors. So I could hear bass and music from all different floors. If I had my window open, I could hear conversations from different parts of halls. One big thing, you will hear people having sex, and that you can't choose whether or not you hear that or not, because that just happens. The beds will no doubt be crap, and the walls are thin, and if they've got the window open, then you'll probably hear that as well. Fire alarms are going to be the bane of your life. My fire alarm was tested every single Monday at 9 o'clock, I think, or 8 o'clock, one of the two. So I'd shit myself every single Monday when I was in bed. And then there's random fire tests, which means at night when you're just chilling, or if you're in the shower, they'll test it and you have to run outside like an idiot. And there will also be people who burn things in the kitchen, burn things in the room, smoke in the room, whatever, and that will set it off as well. So you will be outside quite a bit. So I'd recommend a blanket that you can just pull off the bed and run outside. Yeah, it's not fun. Other people's mess will infuriate you. Whether you're messy or clean, other people's mess in the kitchen and the living area will get on your nerves. In the living room, we had drinks that were there from pre-parties. We had alcohol bottles, decorations from Halloween. In the kitchen, there was pans with mould in them, cutlery that was just put in the sink, or plates that were just put in the sink and just left there. A drinks fountain that was used in freshers and then was put in the kitchen uncleaned, and then flies were stuck to it. And that wasn't cleaned until nearly the end of university, this second semester. So yeah, Every time you walk down the corridor in halls, whether it's like downstairs, whichever floor you're on, because the kitchens are connected at the corridor and the rooms are connected at the corridor, in my halls anyway, the corridor will have all sorts of strange smells. Sometimes it can be nice because someone sprayed something in the room, opened the door and it smells nice, and sometimes it can be fucking awful. There can be like burnt smells and people who don't clean the room smells, and one very important thing that I think I need to talk about is that sometimes halls can be lonely, and this sounds ridiculous because you're with hundreds of different people in halls, but for me, most of my... I feel this is really important to talk about because although you are in a building with like hundreds of other people, halls can get quite lonely, and a lot of the time I was just sat in my room like doing nothing, Tumblr on the internet. And this is because like my halls had fire doors, so none of the doors were ever propped open and no one really used the living space, so the only place you could like socialise was the kitchen, and people wouldn't be in there if they weren't eating. So even if you knocked on someone's door you wouldn't know if they're in or not. So I'd recommend like trying to get different friends outside of halls, in halls, like just don't sit in your room and be alone because it sucks. Other than like different ways to be infuriated by people, I think that's pretty much it. If anyone has any questions about living in halls, you can just comment below or inboxes and I'll answer them. I should be doing a few other university videos, but I am moving on Saturday and I won't have internet for a while, so I don't know whether they'll be up or whether I'll be able to get them filmed. So yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed. As always, comment, like and subscribe. Bye!